Hi, I'm Lou Green. Welcome to America's Crossroads. Hello, I'm Lou Green. Welcome to America's Crossroads. Tonight we're going to meet a young gentleman from the Tampa area who has talent in his fingers and talent on the golf course. He's quite a piano player. His name is Richard Kittlestad. You'll meet Richard at his home where he'll delight you with his piano playing and maybe talk a little bit of golf. Not much, but just a little. And then we're going to go to On Tampa Bay and talk about a development that is mired in muck and mire. And then we'll go to Schriesheim, Germany to meet Haarold Weiss at the Schrieheim Wine Co-op. Find out how they do it over there. The wine is terrific, the scenery is great, the grapes are good, and it's a fun place to visit. So first, Tampa, Florida, Richard Kittlestad. Hi, today America's Crossroads takes us to Richard Kittlestad, pianist and professional golfer and man about town. And Richard has been very active in the piano since he was probably old enough to hit the first key. Tell me about it. When did you start?
Well, when I was about 8 years old, we had a piano in our family, an old, I don't even remember the name of the piano. It must have been about 100 years old, and I just sat down and tried to play a little bit, and I took an interest to the sounds, and I wanted to pursue it. So my mom started giving me lessons, basic stuff of what she knew, and then it was time that she needed to get a little more professional / better lessons for me. So by the time I was about 10, I was about taking lessons twice a week.
Yeah.
And I did the typical standard upbringing through the piano of typical stuff you should learn, and eventually got into classical music, and that kind of took me down to Crossroads where I really enjoyed playing everything I did, and it just eventually grew into something I loved.
Well, you blended golf and you blended the piano quite nicely and ended up at the University of South Florida on the golf team, but also studying music. And did a great job. Now you're out of school and you're working around town. Where are you working?
Well, right now, you mentioned golf. Through golf, I was able to still maintain contacts with a lot of country clubs, and I work at Bel Air Country Club, Avila Golf Club, Tampa Palms, and Hunters Green Golf Clubs. And for the last 3 years, I've been doing this full time, about 5 times a week. And I also play at Oyster Catcher's Restaurant and Armani's Restaurant at the Grand Hyatt in Tampa, as well as Ruth's Chris once in a while, and wherever else anyone would hire me.
Well, when you were going into college and auditioning for the music school, what kind of stuff did they have you play?
Well, it was actually a choice I was allowed to pick, but they had me pick 2 pieces, or actually 3 pieces, one from every major era, one from Baroque, one from the classical era, and one from the Romantic era. And if I remember right, my pieces, I picked an Italian concerto by Bach as my Baroque piece, and then a Mozart sonata as a classical piece, and a Chopin ballade as my romantic piece. And I had to perform all 3 to get in.
Well, you find out being a professional musician that you start out with the Romantic period, you start out with other classic periods, but you always end up Baroque.
Well, hopefully not forever,
No.
right? Well, fortunately, I've been good enough to do well at this,
Yeah.
and I'm happy, and I'm doing well enough to maintain a good lifestyle.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So let's hear something.
Okay.
Just pull something out of your,
Something, just make up something.
That's very good.
Thank you.
When you say you're going to play a cover, what do you mean by that? Tell the folks out there.
Well, a cover is basically taking the same song that you hear on the radio and turning it into a piece of music on the piano, whether it's written the same way or rearranged in technical specifications, or sometimes even changing the chord structure a little bit.
Well, I love to hear Ricky play the piano, or Richard, pardon me. He was Ricky. I knew him when he was Ricky. He was about 15 and pounding the golf ball all over the place, and now he's a professional golfer, and he's Richard. So, come a long way.
Hopefully I'm not poor.
Oh, no. You never will be.
No, I hope not.
Well, thank you for your appearance on America's Crossroads.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll post all your vitals up there so people can find you.
Thank you for having me, Lew. It was always a pleasure talking to you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Richard. Give me 5. Well, that was great, Richard, and I know you're going to be going places and having lots of fun. And, just keep a tip jar by the front door. You never know. Now it's off to On Tampa Bay.
The Encore District near downtown Tampa, supported by a combination of local, state, and federal money, moved forward after the former Central Park Village was torn down but came to a halt during the recession. In December 2012, the project received a Federal Housing and Urban Development Choice Grant for $30 million so developers could complete the work on the last 3 apartment buildings. Encore is named in honor of the rich musical history of downtown Tampa's Central Avenue in its heyday. It's where Ray Charles recorded his first song. Tampa resident Hank Ballard discovered the dance move and wrote the song The Twist, later made famous by Chubby Checker, and legendary jazz artists Ella Fitzgerald, Duke Ellington, and Billie Holiday and Cab Calloway visited and often to perform. All the Encore residential buildings reflect this musical heritage, as the Ella, the Reed, the Trio, and the Tempo, to create a symphony of new home choices for new generations of people. When Encore is completed, it will have shops, offices, a hotel, a museum of black history, and a refurbished Perry Harvey Senior Park, which is nearby. A grocery store and condominiums are also planned, and there is space for another residential building. The project is expected to create about 1,000 jobs. It's a joint venture between the Housing Authority of Tampa and the Bank of America Community Development Corporation has been established. Through this partnership, a master plan of mixed-use, mixed-income housing and development at the Encore site has been completed. 50,000 square feet of commercial retail space, 59,000 square feet of office space, including a hotel, a supermarket, the St. James Church restoration, as well as the restoration of the Perry Harvey Park nearby and a town center. Tampa Housing Authority and its partners expect to receive a profit of approximately $500 million for the sale of individual parcels of lands that have been created from this plan to private developers. This profit and the revenues generated from the operation of the affordable rental properties will help Tampa Housing Authority achieve its goals of quality housing for the residents and thereby lessen the economic dependencies on housing and urban development subsidies. The Ella is a 160-unit senior apartment building which was completed in December 2012 is now fully occupied. Construction is now underway on the Reed, another building for seniors with 158 units, and the Trio is a 141-unit multifamily building and had its grand opening in July this year and is now leasing. The construction for the Reed began in September 2013 and the grand opening is expected in December 2014, and construction for the Tempo started in fourth quarter 2014 and hopefully be done within the year. Also, worth noting, in June of 2014, the Hillsborough County Commission approved the issuance of $21 million in bonds to finance the construction of the Tempo. Based on a review of some of the public available information of the funding sources for the Ella and the Trio, they both come in around under $30 million, but about $20 million of that comes from Bank of America and some financing aspects that they have with Freddie Mac commitment letters that will convert to bond and permanent financing, letter of credits that will also convert to short-term bonds, and credit equities for Bank of America. The rest of the monies for these buildings and these developments comes from Tampa Housing Authority and Housing and Urban Development and other public sources.
Today, America's Crossroads is headed for Germany, and we're going to take the Bergstrasse, which is the mountain road running from Darmstadt down through Heidelberg. Now, the Bergstrasse is a very popular road for people who like to go wine hopping, and it's called the Wine Road for many people who take their bicycles on this 70-kilometer trip from small town to small town where they each have their own unique wines. The Oldenwald is the low mountain range that runs along the Bergstrasse and is a perfect wine growing region in Germany. It's the it's the eastern slopes of the Rhine River Valley, and it's a wonderful area for wine, and the wines, by the way, are terrific. We're going to stop and meet with Haarold Weiss, who is the managing director of the wine co-op in Schriesheim. And he'll give a little insight on how they do it with so many small growers. So let's go to Schriesheim and let's meet Haarold Weiss. And today we're in Schriesheim, Germany with Haarold Weiss.
Yes, hello.
How are you, Haarold?
Oh, it's a very hot morning. Yeah, we're in the middle of summer. And
enjoying yourself?
yeah, perfect, yeah.
Well, we're at the wine co-op here, and I'll have Haarold talk about that because it's a very interesting business and an interesting wine shop that they have, and very good wines.
Yeah. There are about 160 active growers. This co-op exists since 1930, and when it was founded, there were about 27 growers. Today, there are about 160, 170 active growers, and over 200 members. Some elderly people have given up, but they will be lifelong members.
And these are growers of various sizes of plots of land that
Yes,
they
indeed.
have.
Good that you mentioned that because it could be as little as 200 square meters, the smallest. That's about your consumption of half a year, maybe. But yeah, under this roof of the co-op, everybody has got his home. There are a lot of part-time growers. Our chairman is a bank director, for example, and he likes to work on an evening or at Saturdays in his vineyard. And it goes up to 30 hectares, the largest of our growers. And still it might be 100 different places of really small vineyards scattered all over the place.
Here's an example of what Haarold Weiss was talking about with the small grower plots. And he talked about these small growers, and here they are right by Strahlenberg, which is the castle overlooking Schriesheim. But they're mostly here on the Oldenwald area.
Protected sites along the hills, a lot of steep vineyards, and it's also the neighboring villages.
Well, let's talk about the harvesting and the grapes themselves, and what types of grapes they are, and what types of wine you end up with, and how you get to the end product here.
Let's start with the grape varieties.
Yeah.
We started off 1930. Most of it was Silvaner, which is still a classical grape variety here. You will find it in Alsace, you will find it in Franconia. That's the most important white wine. And here it has lost importance because there are so many others which have followed. Müller-Thurgau was the next big plantation. Riesling is the most important white wine here. But then we have a lot of Pinot varieties like Pinot Gris, Pinot Blanc. But also we experiment, not exactly experiment, but it's for the past 10 years with Chardonnay, with Sauvignon Blanc. They feel very much at home here with this nice climate.
Oh, I can imagine. So you gather the grapes in the harvest season, and then what do you do?
First of all, we assemble all our growers before the harvest. We do tours around the vineyards, and we have a talk about aims, the goal of the harvest. We want to have the best possible quality of grapes. Perfect condition, healthy grapes, no rotten bunches, nothing. Maximum ripeness. We have not high yields here, but we want to get them into the highest possible sugar levels and very mature grapes. We have split the work between us and the central cooperative Badischer Winzerkeller, which is the largest Baden winery. We are a member there since about 45 years. We have made our wine ourselves, but we found out that it needs a lot of investment, new buildings, new technology, and to put a lot of money in year by year. So we decided to do all the growing side here, look after our growers. We put up a new crushing house with the latest technology, modern presses and gentle pressing. And the juice immediately after pressing leaves our winery, goes to Breisach, to the central cooperative, and that's taken care of. Doesn't matter if it's as little as 1,000 liters or if the batches are larger. We have a lot of batches between 5 and 10,000. There's no mass production. Only a few highlights, maybe they might reach 30 to 50,000 liters.
Well, let's take a look at some of the wines you have.
Yeah.
And you can describe some of these things.
This is a wine, a blush wine, you see, made from Pinot Noir, also a Weissherbst. It's got a residual sugar of about 25 grams, unfermented sugar. The young people like it.
Yeah.
And here, the alternative, a nice dry rosé for the summer, perfect wine for evenings like now. Blanc de Noir, made from Pinot Noir. You see Pinot Noir all over. It's our most important grape variety. Only the very, very best goes into red wine. We can talk about it here. But here, specialty Gewürztraminer, very fruity wine, also quite a bit of residual sugar as a dessert wine, or with blue cheeses, fantastic. Then here some Auslese. We're not really experts of sweet wine. It's the customer who decides what he wants, and it's about 80% dry wines we sell.
And as soon as we came here, we tried them out, and I thought, wow, these are very good wines. Who knows about this? We came up to the wine shop, and they're very reasonably priced.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, you know, compared to other wines, I mean, these are a real bargain.
This comes because, yeah, the co-op wines Usually they are very good value for money, and because we share the costs, not every single grower has to have technical equipment to make wine and market it. You see, even we share costs with a big partner, Badischer Winzerkeller, and we want to make wine available for lots of people and not only for an elite class. Even here, our top red wine selection, it's got a gold medal for Baden and a national gold medal. This only costs 14 euros, and we consider that to be our most expensive wine. It's quite funny, yeah?
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
Or here, this whole range here is called our exclusive series. It starts with a Silvaner. We always want to remind people where we come from. And for us, it's not just an ordinary everyday's wine, this kind of variety, Silvaner. It has got everything to be the best white wine you can produce, to be in our exclusive range. Got a gold medal. And the Chardonnay and the Sauvignon Blanc. As I told you, they feel home here at the Bergstraße too, in our area.
Yeah.
There's enough sunshine, and the quality of the grower is perfect.
There's enough sunshine this year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, for now, thank you very much. Haarold Weiss in Schriesheim, Germany. And when you get a chance to visit this area, drop in the store and bring your friends. Well, now we're going to return to New York City with Vince Giordano's Nighthawks, who play every Monday and Tuesday at the Iguana right off of Times Square. I'll be with my good friend Andy Shumm, and we'll be playing with Vince's band and playing the Canal Street Blues. So let's go to the Iguana in New York City.
All right, here you go. Yeah, right. 1, 2, 1, 1. How about Lew Andy Shumm, and Haarold Weiss in an old-time get-together. Thanks so much, guys. That was wonderful. Thank you. Wow, man. Just like the old days, the great old Canal Street blues.
Well, that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show, and hope you tune in again next week to America's Crossroads. I'm Lew Green, and I'll be seeing you where the roads come together. Bye-bye.